So I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for book recommendations. And I've read a lot recently. So I said I'd share the ones I've read because I've really liked them. And yeah. Also, sorry the lighting is probably shit because it's a shit day outside and my hair is just having one of those days. But anyways. So my goal this year was to read 12 books because I was like, that's one a month, like that's doable. I didn't want to go crazy. And it's not even the end of February and I'd say I've probably read like 5 or 6. Or like started 5 or 6. So anyways. So the first book that I absolutely love is called Beauty Sick by Renee Englund. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But okay, it's backwards for you, but it says how the cultural obsession with appearance hurts girls and women. So I've seen the book Women Don't Owe You Pretty going around a lot lately, and I feel like I haven't read that yet, but I want to, and I feel like this is the same kind of vibe. Sorry. And yeah, I feel like this is the same kind of vibe. It's so eye-opening and I just love it. Like, I feel like every woman needs to read this. But yeah, I'm just going to read some of the back of it for you, just to give you more of an idea. Today's girls and women embody a bewildering set of contradictions. They don't want to be Barbie dolls, but like generations before them, feel pressure to look like them. They're angry about the media's treatment of women, but often consume the very outlets that belittle them. They mock our culture's absurd beauty ideals and make videos exposing photoshopping tricks, but emulate the same images they reject. They critique social media for representing a false reality, but still download apps to airbrush their selfies. Simply put, a beauty-sick culture leaves too many of today's women at risk. Yet many of these same women are eager for a way to step away from the mirror, eager for a way forward. In Beauty Sick, Renee Englund, PhD, provides invaluable motivation and workable solutions for women to embrace their whole selves, claim the futures they deserve, and ultimately change the very world that made them beauty sick in the first place. But yeah, honestly, I think even that little bit at the back like doesn't even do it justice. Like, it's better than it even sounds. Like, then the second book is this one here, and it's actually the 6th book in a series, so I highly recommend you read the whole series. And it's The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel series by Michael Scott. So I'll either put like a list of all of them in the description or leave a picture, because obviously I'm not going to list all 6 books, but I highly recommend them. You'll find them in the teen section or your like young adult section, but honestly, like, they're so good. Like, they're the kind of, it's like how you'll find like the Shadowhunter books and the Maze Runner books, all that kind of stuff in the teen section. But like, obviously you don't have to be a teen to read them. So it's the same kind of vibe as those two. Maybe you've seen the series or movies, whatever, but the books are always better. And yeah, same kind of vibe. Then the next one, as you can see, I'm still reading it at the moment. I'm almost done though. And it is called The Unexpected Joy of Being Single by Katherine Gray. And it's honestly so good. And like, I feel like it's not what you'd expect. Like, I feel like when I saw the title, I was expecting it to be very like, oh, being single's great, like you can do whatever you want, blah 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 blah, just very kind of like wishy-washy. But it's really not. Like, it's really like dives deep into shit, like, and talks about like why we feel the pressure to be in a relationship, like, and it briefly mentions about like attachment styles, which is definitely something I really want to read more into because I find it so interesting. Yeah, like one part of there I just found, like, basically in writing this book she went to like 3 therapy sessions, like, to kind of get more information just for this book. So it kind of goes into like how like our parents' relationships and like stuff like that has affected like our view on relationships, and just in society as well, like how we're conditioned to see single people versus people in relationships. And I don't know, it's just honestly amazing, and like why we feel the need, like once we reach the age 30, it's just like shit, you're gonna be like left on the shelf. Like, you know, it just talks through all that bullshit, which I love. But yeah, I'm gonna read the back of it again. I might edit these parts out, to be honest. I'm not sure, because I don't want it to be a super long video. But anyways, having a secret single freak out, feeling the red heart-shaped urgency intensify as the years roll on by. Oh hi, you're in the right place. I feel so cringy reading this, but you know. Over half of 25 to 44-year-olds are now single. It's become the norm to remain solo until much later in life. Many of us are choosing never to marry at all, but society, films, song lyrics, and our parents are adamant that a happy ending has to be couple-shaped, that we're incomplete without our other half. Cue single sorrow. Dating like it's a job, spending half our lives waiting for somebody we fancy to text us back, feeling haunted by the terms spinster or confirmed bachelor. Katherine Gray went through all of this. She took a whole year off dating to find single satisfaction. She talked to neuroscientists and psychiatrists. I can't talk. These are big words. Lifted the lid on the reasons behind the global single revolution, explored the bizarre ways culture's single shame, detached from all the good ones are gone, panic, and debunked the myth that married people are much happier. Let's locate and luxuriate in some single joy. Are you in? Are you in? Spoiler, you're already whole. So yeah, highly recommend. Like, I feel like everyone needs to read this book, honestly. So the next one is called The Heart's Invisible Furies by Boyne. I feel like I said that weird, but yeah. It's very, very good. Again, I'll read the back, just in case I do end up putting it in there. Cast out from home, 16 and pregnant, Katherine Goggin boards the bus to Dublin to start afresh. Once there, she has no choice but to believe that the nun to whom she entrusts her child will find him a better life. The baby is named Cyril by his adoptive parents, who treat him more like a curiosity than a son. But before this can affect him too deeply, he meets Julian Woodbead, who even from childhood seems destined for an infinitely more glamorous and dangerous life. And so begins one man's funny and moving search to find his place in a world that seems to delight in gently tormenting him at every turn. Buffeted, I don't know how you say that, by circumstance and the consequences of his own questionable judgment, Cyril must navigate his emotions and his desires in search for the most instinctive human need, happiness. So yeah, it's obviously, if you're from Ireland, you know that back in the day, getting pregnant and having a baby out of wedlock was, I can't even find the right words, but yeah, not fun. So yeah, obviously she was 16, went up to Dublin, gave up her son for adoption, and yeah, and then it just kind of goes through his life story and what life is like at that time in Ireland as a gay man. And yeah, it's really interesting, really heartbreaking at points. Like, I cried a couple times, but also like really heartwarming. So yeah, it's really, really good. And now I want to read more of his books. Yeah. Next one is The Sober Girl Society Handbook, an empowering guide to living hangover free. I absolutely love this. Like, it's upside down. I had it read in like a few days. Like, it's so good. Because yeah, I went sober start of this year, like 1st of January, and I don't plan on drinking anytime soon. Like, but I'm not putting any like definite things out there because I don't like to be too restrictive in like my diet and lifestyle. So, but yeah, I don't plan on drinking anytime soon, but even if like you're not sober, I highly recommend reading this, because, and you don't have to be a girl to read it either, just to be more aware of like what you're actually doing to your body and like the effects it has and stuff, because I feel like sometimes we don't actually really stop to think about it. But yeah, it's, even if you have no intention of going sober, like it's good to even just have the information and just be more conscious in your decisions, I guess. So yeah, I'll definitely read the back of this one because I feel like so many people can relate. So have you ever woken up feeling anxious about something you said at your work drinks the night before? Do you cringe with embarrassment when friends remind you of your wild antics at your girls' night? Are you finding yourself feeling increasingly sad after a few too many wines? Whichever way you look at it, it's hard for us to avoid how alcohol makes some of us feel terrible. Whether you're simply sober curious or determined to make a more permanent change, this book shows you not only why you should, but also how you can, in a way that will change your life forever. Offering tips and advice to stay sober in a world that revolves around drinking, Millie shares essential information to empower you to transform your relationship with alcohol so you can lead your most fulfilling life. It's time to join a sober girl society. But yeah, can't recommend this enough. I know I'm saying that about all of them, but I've honestly loved every single one of them, and I think that's because, like, before I even pick up a book, like, I have to kind of hear a lot about it, to be honest. It's not like I know it's going to be good, which is also why I'm making this video, so like you don't have to go searching for hours for a good book. Like, these are all amazing in my opinion. And yeah, last but not least, and I left this to last because I wanted to put a little trigger warning for like sexual assault and sexual trauma. So if that's like triggering for you, just don't watch this part, or just leave the video now, I guess. But yeah, I actually started this end of last year, but I'm still not done because I'm really just kind of taking my time with it. But it is called The Sexual Healing Journey, and like, I actually don't even know how to describe this book, but in a way I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory in the title. Like, so many of us experience sexual trauma at a young age, and it really shapes like your view of sex, relationships, like trust, like so many things. So you kind of have to unlearn a lot of things. So yeah, this really like goes deep into shit, which is why, you know, I'm taking my time with it. There's no rush. That's what lockdown's for. Okay, I'll read the back of it again, just in case. This widely esteemed comprehensive guide helps survivors of sexual abuse heal from the past, improve relationships, and discover the joys of sexual intimacy. Wendy Maltz sensitively takes readers step by step through the recovery process, integrating expert advice with groundbreaking exercises, proven techniques, the first-person accounts of women and men at every stage of sexual healing. This compassionate resource can help you to identify the sexual effects of sexual abuse, eliminate negative sexual behaviour and resolve specific problems, gain control over upsetting automatic reactions to touch and sex, develop a healthy sexual self-concept. But yeah, that's it. And yeah, so obviously I've like highlighted loads of bits in it. And what I love about it as well is, I'm just trying to find it here. Okay, so like one of my favourite parts about this book is there's one section here, it's got like 4 pages long. It's called the Sexual Effects Inventory. And yeah, it's just got like loads of kind of sentences. Hopefully you can't see what I've marked, because obviously that's personal. If so, I'll block it out somehow. But yeah, it's got loads of like statements and like categories, like attitudes about sex, sexual self-concept, automatic reactions, sexual behaviour, intimate relationships, stuff like that, so on. And under each category there's like several statements and then you kind of like take the ones that you kind of connect with. And yeah, it just kind of allows you to look back and maybe realize how much it's affected you, or realize in which areas like you most need to work on, stuff like that. And yeah, like I love a good like exercise as well, to be honest. Like you know, quizzes, journaling exercises, anything, ticking boxes, you know. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and highly recommend if it's for you. And the other thing I want to say as well is sometimes I think when it comes to this kind of stuff, we can downplay it, and we can kind of go, oh well, like it was only once, or like it wasn't violent, it wasn't that bad, whatever, and like it wasn't a big deal, stuff like that. I think just as a society, that's how we are. We love to complain, but at the same time we downplay our problems. Kind of contradictory. But so like, even if you're that person that's like watching this being like, oh, like, you know, it was only once, or it wasn't that bad, or whatever, like maybe give it a go, just reading it, and maybe you might find that it affected you more than you thought. And like it was a big deal. And yeah, I just want to say that because I know a lot of the time we can downplay things, and it's important to know that whatever your experience is valid, and it is enough, and you are enough. And yeah, that's the end of the video. So, because they're all the ones I've kind of read in the last couple months. Obviously there is more books, and I'll probably make a part 2 to this video, to be honest, because I am reading so much at the moment because it's lockdown and I'm not working and I'm not in college, so I'm just trying to keep my brain active, and I have lots of free time. So, but yeah, that's all the kind of book recommendations I have for now. Let me know if you read any of them as well. Like, I'd love to know, and I'd love to know like what you think. Yeah, that's it. I hope you have a lovely day.